Good morning. So, I put the 180 up for sale in hopes that it might sell before I started to modify it, because at the moment, starts, runs and drives totally fine, as is, and would be the perfect car for someone to step into if they just wanted to sort of come to Japan, have plenty of fun. But it didn't sell, so now it's time to modify it. Kansai All Stars is on the 15th. Today is the 10th. I have a tune at Diversion on the 12th, which is Friday. Today's Wednesday. I got lots to do. So the plan is pull the head off, metal head gasket, head studs. While I'm there, change the turbo, put all that back together. Once that's on, I've got a fuel rail here with some Bosch 980cc injectors. Put them in, put the new front mount on, make intercooler piping, put the new radiator in. I've bought an ECU here. I will buy a link, is my plan, but for the time being, because the link's not going to get here in time and I am strapped for cash, I have bought a HKS FCON 5. It does have a map sensor, which is good. I took them down to Satoshi's yesterday and he basically told me that the FCON 5 was shit and I needed the FCON 5 Pro, which is the gold case, not the silver case. This stuff's all new to me. It's all Japanese stuff. So yeah, basically he was like, this is what you need. You don't have that. Bring me down all the things you have tomorrow afternoon. So I've got to go down and see him this afternoon at 2 o'clock. But I'm about to start getting into the car. So I'm about to turn the car on, drive it into the other shed, and then start getting to work. I'm hoping to make, with a new setup, 350 to 400. But we'll see. My turbo hasn't got here yet, so at the moment it's only got an S15 turbo on there. I asked Satoshi about it yesterday. He basically said that you might be able to run like 1.4 bar on it, but it will fall off at the top and end up maybe being only like 1.2 bar, which I think equivalates out to 18 pound. 1 bar is 15 PSI, 15.4 maybe. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yes, that's where we're at. Let's have a look at the car and let's get into it. Such a rig. I also have 4 to 5 stud bolt-on spacers, so the P1s will come off and all be up for sale, and then I'll just have the Kawamis all round. But I might be selling the Kawamis as well because they're 17s and I'd like to run 18s on the rear. 17s on the front I have no issue with, so alright, let's get into it. Alright, let's get into this. That's disgusting. Alright, so my plan is to just get the front bar off, get the intercooler off, drain the coolant out of the rad, get the rad out, and then that'll make things easier because I need to replace the radiator anyway. Get the intercooler piping and everything out of there, so again, freeze the bay up, and then we'll lift the head, clean the block, clean the head up. I can't get the head faced by Naprec or Tomei. I need to send it away, and it's going to take 3 or 4 days, and then I need to send it back. I don't have time for that, so I'm going to just clean the head up somehow. Haven't worked out how I'm going to do that yet because I've never cleaned faced a head without taking it to a machine shop before. As for the block, I've done that plenty. So yeah, let's get to work. Alright, so here I'm just yanking the front bar off, getting the intercooler piping out and getting the intercooler off. Just in prep for obviously pulling that head off. I'm trying to create as much room in the engine bay as I can because I don't want to take the turbo or the intake out with the head. I want to take that off and leave it in the engine bay, then pull the head off on its own. Alright, and in this one I'm just yanking the radiator out and getting the vac lines, the breather lines and the fuel lines off, as well as the fan. I did break that clutch fan when I put this motor in the car because I left the breaker bar on there while timing it. So started up and actually snapped one of the blades off, so I've got a new one to replace that. Alright, radiator's out. Intercooler's out. Look how small and adorable and cute it is. Everything is basically off now, so I've got to go to Satoshi's to show him that ECU. But when I get back, I was kind of thinking that I was just going to undo the dump pipe, leave the turbo on and pull it out. But I've kind of decided when I was undoing everything that I'm going to actually undo all the bolts off that. They're all just 14s and there's 8 of them for memory. Pull that sort of off to the side. And then I'm going to do the same with the intake manifold, because there's heaps of water lines under the intake manifold as well. And I don't really want to have to undo all those. So I'm going to undo the intake, slide it off to the side. And then I'll take the rocker cover off. I need to buy a bench when I'm out as well, like a little plastic bench so I can put it here. And then I'll basically pull the rocker cover off, time it up to top dead center, pull the cam angle sensor out, pull the tensioner out, and then I'll undo the cams, get those onto the bench, and then I'll take all the rockers off, all the shims off, put them on the bench, and then from there we'll be able to access the head bolts. We'll undo all the head bolts, get all the head bolts out of it, and then I'll be able to actually physically lift the head up and off. And because the head will then technically be bare, all I'll have to do is pull the lifters out of it. Once I pull the lifters out, I'll be able to turn the head over and actually clean up the face of that head. Once I've done that, I'll degrease the head and gurney the head off, blow it all out with air, and basically clean the block up, put the head studs in. If it has the S13 timing chain guide, you can't actually put the head studs in first, because the way you need to put the head on, it actually kind of needs to go on like that because of the guide that is on the passenger side of the car, on that side. But if it's got a metal one, yeah, you can't do it, and you can kind of get away with it with the S13 one, but yeah, basically I'll copper spray or Hylamar the gasket. I've got a Tomei gasket here for it. Sit that on, then sit the head on, and then I'll put all my head studs in individually, tighten them all down just hand tight with an Allen key, and then from there I'll torque the head down and everything can go back together. So big job ahead. Alright, let's keep going and we'll go see Satoshi now actually. Alright, so we're on the way to Satoshi's shop now. His shop is about 15 minutes from my house, and Satoshi's kind of like the big tuner in the area. Well, seemingly a big tuner in Japan, to be honest. Tunes Naoki's cars and a lot of other cars of, I suppose, people I talk to. So I'm really excited to get my car tuned by him to sort of see how that feels compared to, I suppose, Buck's Tune It Simply Tuning in Australia. I haven't really ever had my car tuned by anyone else other than Buck and Ben at M1 Tuning in Helensvale in Australia. Yeah, so I'm excited to see how that goes. Excited to see how the car feels compared to, I suppose, Australian tuning, if it even feels any different. So yeah, on the way there now. We'll show you some cool stuff on the way home. We drive past this car shop called V Factory. They've always got heaps of cool cars out the front. We've just driven past now, so we'll show you on the way back. But yeah, hopefully we get to Satoshi's now and he gives us good news that I can use the ECU that I have now. Otherwise he's suggesting that I rent an ECU off him, but it would just be nice to have the ECU that I bought in the car until I get my link here, and then I can put that in the car, change a couple more things, then get another tune. So alright, let's go. Alright, we're here. That one's broken. We do need fuel too, so lucky we're here. Some pretty cool stuff in here. Let's go out the back to the dyno. of Satoshi's, and he's told me that he can't use my ECU because he doesn't have the software for it, and it's very old, 2005. So I may as well just bought a Power FC. This does have a map sensor though, which is good, so I can ditch the airflow meter. So now I'm just driving to get some fuel, and then I'll get some lunch, and then head back to the house, get the rest of this car apart. Show you guys V Factory all the way there. I mean, the doors never open when we drive past, but there's a shop there. Alright, so my phone's basically out of battery, so I'm not time-lapsing anything because it's going to go flat. But the exhaust side's off now. I'm just going to get the intake side off. I went to Agro Gardens to try to find a plastic table, but they didn't have any, so not sure what I'm going to do there yet, but I'll work it out. Let's keep going. Alright, everything's off. We're all timed up at top dead center. Should mark there. I'll show you how to put all that back together when I do it, so you guys know. Let's get its head off. Alright, there's my bench. Everything's out. Can't get the shims out. See little shimmy boys on there? Because I don't have a magnet. And because I've got oil underneath them, they're like little suctioned on a little. So I'm going to go down to NAFCO to get a magnet and a Allen key big enough to undo the head bolt, because I don't have any of that here. Sick! Alright, I'm going to get that stuff now. Okay, so the day's ticking along. It's almost 8 o'clock at night. But I just got back I went to NAFCO first and drove home and forgot to buy a magnet. So I've just gone to Juntendo because it's open later than NAFCO and Agro Gardens. Got myself a magnet. Whilst I was down there, I actually bought a set of Allen keys for $20 because the single 10mm Allen key I bought from NAFCO was like $7 and this was like 20, so I'll take that back. Not bad. Also bought a set of crimps because I need to crimp new injector plugs onto my wiring loom. Right, let's keep pulling this thing apart. Okay, so when I was putting this in the car, I was like, I'm going to make it sick and stock, and I'm going to put all the 12mm bolts at the back of the head to hold the water lines in. Idiot. It was way more of a mission than it should have been. It's out. This motor's so clean. Just a reminder, I bought this motor from Up Garage. It had like, I think 60,000 on it. It was auto, and it had the oil gallery cracked off the side of the block, so yeah, let's have a look at it. The crosshatch still in the bore. You'll be able to get an alright image. Look at that. So the head gasket actually stayed stuck to the head, but head's off. Look how clean the head is. I'll flip this upside down, pull the gasket off, and then clean it all up. Alright, just pulled the gasket off. Get clean the combustion chamber is on this. I am stoked. Now to clean it up. Alright, that's the head all cleaned up. I'm not going to show you how I did it because it's not the right way. It's dodgy as shit. Whoopsie. Alright, let's get onto the block. Alright, and now that's the block all cleaned. So now I can get the head gasket out, sit the head gasket on. I've already cleaned the head. It's actually looking very clean. Doesn't look that clean from here, but it's tidy. And then put it all back together. Yeah, in regards to cleaning this, I would usually use a flat block with some emery tape on the top, and I would emery tape it. That's how I was taught when I was doing my apprenticeship at a small garage. This didn't have a blown head gasket. This didn't have anything wrong with the head or the block. So cleaning up a head like this is actually quite easy because nothing's bent. However, if you were going to try and face a head, like I've just done there, well, I haven't faced it at all, I've just cleaned it, not with anything dodgy. But yeah, you would never be able to get that flat, like ever, with a whetstone. I mean, you get it flat with a whetstone, you just might be there for like 3 months. And yeah, as for the blocks usually don't move if you are to blow the factory gasket. If you're to blow a metal one, I've seen the block have a couple thou of sort of bend in the blocks. So yeah, realistically, if you've blown a head gasket and you're wanting to do the same thing as I'm doing now, it's not going to work. You need to get that head faced. You need to get that head flat. All I realistically did in like for this process is I pulled the factory gasket out because there was nothing wrong with it, but I need to put a metal one on there so I can put some more boost into it. And all I was using that like sandpaper for was to quite literally just get rid of the old gasket. I wasn't trying to get the head flat. I wasn't trying to get the block flat. I was literally just cleaning up the remnants of the old gasket so that it has a clean surface for the new gasket to bond. I can't stress this enough. Do not try to do this if you've got a blown head gasket, because you'll put it all back together with a metal gasket and head studs or whatever, and it's going to leak, and then you're going to have to pull it all back apart again and send the head to the machine shop. Head needs to be faced if it's blown a gasket. That's just like end of story. All right, I'm going to go get some dinner, and then not sure if I'm going to come back and get into it tonight or if I'm going to do it in the morning. It's very hot in here at the moment.